Let's really get into talking about what's currently happening in the world. Okay, that's affecting business. Okay, well, it's this little round guy that has a bunch of little things on him and nobody can see, called Mr. Corona, um, and making a mess of business right now. I can tell you right now, just from this last week in the companies that I work with, it has been absolutely like a frenzy. Okay, and how do we pivot from this? Okay, how does a company that's currently selling something in the marketplace that's a novelty, right, and they don't have a huge online presence, how do they pivot that? How do they pivot that company now? That was a $10 million a month company, and now literally within a matter of a week and a half or 2 weeks, they've went from that to almost zero, with employees out of the mix, sending employees home. They still have to pay salaries, so on and so forth. It's a huge mess. So how do you deal with that? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some ways that I have seen some businesses doing things differently. So pivoting, it's really a right time conversation, okay? And it's really finding what the gold, where's the vein of gold for you to jump into in your current business, okay? And I don't necessarily know that answer in the clothing industry, what that would be. If you were in the manufacturing part of it, it would be different. But you have to think of creative ways to get your product out in the marketplace. Because the ones that take the back burner approach on this are the ones that will probably, in the long run, they'll take such a financial hit that they'll no longer be able to run the company long term. Okay, so it's very important. Okay, this is the own the market and really drive your marketing and advertising farther than you probably ever have. Okay, because the results that should create now should look much different than they did before. Okay, I know that seems probably counterintuitive, but here's the thing: you have to look at it in this way. If 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, there were 10,000 e-commerce stores that sold clothes, today there's probably only an eighth of that today. Okay, so what does that mean? That means now I can do more. Okay, pending product, all that stuff, right? But that's what we call risk management. Okay, well, I'm not telling you to just go take all the money out of your bank and just go blow it. That's not what I'm telling you. But I'm telling you to make calculated decisions. Okay, manage risk in a calculated way. Okay, and just don't be the other person that's used to going this way. Go forward. Okay. Did Steve Jobs ever turn backwards and run the other way when he lost his own company? I mean, he literally lost Apple. No, he created something to get himself back in. Okay. He took a lot of managed risk to do what he did, creating this system that we now enjoy so much if we own Apple products, this almost impervious to virus and all that kind of stuff system. And that's how he got himself back into Apple, was through that vessel. I think it was called the Cube or Square or something like that, but that he introduced, and that's kind of what put him back on the radar. But he managed that risk, and he put a lot of his own money into it because he knew where he wanted to be. Okay, and the same thing goes here. Okay, managing fulfillment right now is key, and Plan for months of inventory if you can, okay? Because if you can plan for, say, 2 months of inventory, now and maybe that means you have to ship stuff yourself, which I know some of you do anyway, but some are using third-party avenues. But if you can have that product stockpile and you have your core client base, number one, incentivize that core client base if you can, okay? What's the best way to extract money into your company? You go to your core client base and do two things. Ask them for more. Ask them for more money, not literally, but ask them to buy more product. And who do you know that could use this product, that would love it, that I can get in contact with and talk about this product, okay? I know entire business models that are ran that way, okay? It's not necessarily the most scalable, but here's what it is. It's coronavirusable, okay? All right, it is a way. It's a way, okay? Manufacturing routes right now are only going to get less and less right now, especially now that this Defense Act has been implemented especially the clothing industry. So that's going to be a risky proposition right now. But if you can get the inventory to hold, ship, you just have to figure all the shipping costs and all that stuff to do it yourself. But get through this time, okay? Because, this too shall pass. And as long as you have the inventory for the next month or two, you're going to come out on the clean side of this and not have looking at bankruptcy at the other side, okay? So now, here's a big one. And I truly subscribe to this, and that's stress mitigation, okay? Especially right now. A lot of people are feeling a lot of stress in their personal life to, oh my God, I don't want to get this junk and blah, 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 blah. I don't want this to be me. The stress of, my business is fulfilling my life plan and paying for my life plan. So that's my bread and butter is my business, okay? And that's most of us that own businesses, that's the way it is. Some are just doing this as a hobby or part-time, and maybe have a job somewhere else. Well, guess what? That's in jeopardy now. So it's very key to mitigate stress. And how do we do that? Number one, stay active, your brain, your body, everything. Keep engaged. And the best thing you can keep engaged in right now is keeping this business trucking forward, okay? Stay engaged with that every single day, okay? I can tell you right now, I am more busy than I have ever been in the last 3 years, in the last 3 weeks. It's crazy. But part of that is a little bit of my way of managing, mitigating stress, okay? Is bury in the work, okay? Do meaningful work though, not just busy work, meaningful work, strategic work that takes your business farther, okay? But amongst helping my private clients and my own companies, keeping them, moving forward faster, I'm pushing them faster than ever right now. Why? Because while I'm going faster, everybody's going the other way. Just like the stock market example, okay? So, but keep yourself, physically and mentally in the game. Don't check out, because that's not going to help, okay? So now cost-cutting strategies, okay? So when we talk about, delegating, okay? Delegating tasks to people, so on and so forth. Or some of you have VAs or that kind of thing. This is where you have to learn to get creative, get lean, and revamp your task delegation, okay? Cut waste, cut it where you can. Sometimes that's on staff, unfortunately it is. Sometimes it can be systematic things that get cut. And your number one focus should be, strategic pivot and sell, 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 fulfill, fulfill, fulfill. Okay. If you sell and fulfill right now, forget all this. Okay. All of it. Forget it all. Sell the product, fulfill the product. Sell it, fulfill it. Sell it, fulfill it. Okay. That's it right now. Focus on that. I'm not saying this isn't important, because it is important, but until we get through this current situation, the most important thing is to sell and fulfill your product. Okay. If you have staffs, all that kind of stuff, and you're more of the, e-commerce based business, and you have all remote employees, that changes the game a lot. Okay. When I say cut staff, you may not need to do that. Okay. But maybe you just need to go down to part-time, or whatever the case may be, rearrange things a little bit until we get through this time that we're going through right now. And I don't know how long it's going to be. No idea. I seen a quote today that my wife sent to me, and some lady sent some note in. I don't know where it was sent to, but on some social media platform. And it said something like, we need to know when this is going to end. We need to know the exact date this is going to end, for our businesses, for our daycare, children, so on and so forth. And the response was a kind of a snarky, smart aleck response, but it was true. And the response was, so I guess you need to get in contact with COVID-19's management team. True, right? Okay. So, but nobody knows how long this is going to take place for. So, like I'm telling people, plan for this to hunker down and be here, until summer, because summer seems to be the time when all this kind of crud goes away. And if you can do that, just focus on the things that matter. Support, sell, fulfill. Okay. This is when your customer support has to be, you should just be so spot on with that right now. Okay. That your clients love you to death because of it. Okay. It should always be that way, but unfortunately it's not always that way. Okay. But focus on that. Okay. Okay. So now strategic realignment. Okay. If possible. Number one with that is simply just pivot to own the market share. Okay. How do you pivot to own the market share? Simple. Keep driving the car forward, not backwards. Okay. And start investing more into your company, more into your product, more into getting it in front of as many eyeballs as you possibly can. Why? Because less and less people are doing that. Your competition is dwindling by the day, because they're just pulling back, and they're saying, oh boy, I don't know what's going to happen here. Okay. And that's the worst mistake you can make. Okay. Number two, what is your unique USP? Okay. If you don't have one, you need to create one. What makes you different, especially right now? I'm not saying go out and like lean and pivot on the benefit of, the coronavirus. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is now you can really get, you can get unique now. Okay. So what is it that I do that's unique that all these other people used to do? And now I'm soaking up the market share for that. Okay. I don't have the answer for each of your individual businesses, but it's your product. Okay. You should know that. What can you do that is super unique with that, where people in turn go, oh, wow, that's pretty neat. I've never seen that before. Right. That's just a little bit of creative thinking is what that is. So be creative. This is where that strategic the visionary you has to come out and, you know, put the time and effort into thinking through that. I frequently will go rent a hotel room and lock myself in a hotel room for a weekend just to go into um, strategic thought. Just sit there and write stuff down on paper. Half of it's garbage at the end, but guess what? One or two really, really awesome things comes out of that. Now, obviously, we can't go to hotels, but you can lock yourself in a room for a day, and just start to just, you know, if you got a whiteboard, just start whiteboarding things out. Okay, how can I be different? How can I be unique in this business? Okay, and if you figure that out, now that may change your avatar, maybe not, but then start to really focus that unique USP as part of your marketing. Okay, and if you do that, the results you'll see from that will be far different than maybe what you've had in the past.